Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Mura here, and today we're gonna talk about the current state of fighting games, the future, Street Fighter 6 and why it needs to be successful. I wanted to do this video as more of a casual talk, so it's not really scripted, it's just gonna be me talking. And I also wanted to do it in front of a camera, but unfortunately there is a lighting situation going on with my room right now, so I can't set it up. So we're just gonna have to do with voiceovers. I'm gonna keep it centered around Street Fighter as well, because that is what my channel is known for. Street Fighter 5, the game is on its last legs, right? Last couple of days. The game is still have a CBT tournament series going, and I think it should end at the start of next year. It's gonna be like March or February, something around that. And I do think there is also Evo Japan, which should be in March. And these are probably the final times that we're gonna see Street Fighter 5 as a mainline tournament game. For the daily grinders, people like you and me, I've been finding it hard to keep playing at least as much as I used to, because most of the goals that I set for myself with Street Fighter I have done, and I'm not gonna go for like an ultimate grandmaster or like warlord grind, because the matchmaking time is crazy for me, and players, we're getting like fewer and fewer players online. All of my friends are not playing anymore, so playing have been kinda difficult. But I must say that characters have been keeping me hooked. Like, I still play Street Fighter every couple of days just to get my Cody fix or to get my Poison fix. Character loyalty is really huge. But right now, the current state of fighting game is that we're waiting, right? And it's something that I said in my community post, I think the most recent one, where I was talking about how Capcom is handling messaging us about Street Fighter 6 and how they're revealing information. Because for the most part with fighting games, they used to deliver information in much shorter bursts. Like Street Fighter 5, we used to get like a character trailer every month, right? And if you take a look at a more extreme case, game like King of Fighters, I think they were releasing a character trailer every week or like every other week. So fighting games have been known to deliver information very quickly, but what Street Fighter 6 is doing, or like what Capcom is doing with Street Fighter 6, is that they're treating it just like any other AAA game. They're just waiting for the big events where there are most eyes watching the game, and then they will deliver like big info dumps. So it's like Sony events, the like Game Awards or whatever it was, the Tokyo Game Show, it's like events where there are a lot of eyes watching that are outside of the FGC. That's where they deliver the information, which I think is pretty cool. For the most part, fighting games have been arcade games, right? At least for the Japanese side of fighting games, right? And they have been even marketed in a very similar fashion to arcade games, and it's like rapid information and keeping everything just for like your little dedicated player base. But what Capcom is doing is that they are showing the game where most people can see it. They are treating Street Fighter 6 like a AAA game, like it's a big thing for them. And one of the aspects that is showing this is that the fighting, the actual core combat seem to be just a part of the game. This is something that NRS have been doing with their games for a while. Smash is doing this as well, where they're giving players a lot more to do with the game than just fighting. And unfortunately, I think this is probably the biggest downfall of most of the fighting games. What I have found throughout looking at various data, my experiences with fighting games, is that it's not really that difficult for a fighting game to get audiences. Like, it's not hard to get people to try out the game. The issue is that most people don't stick with the games, right? And even though, yes, like in a game like Mortal Kombat, the active player base or like the tournament player base is not as big as Capcom titles, but I think there's still like a healthy active player base. And obviously with Smash as well, you want to keep a game that anyone can enjoy, and that's what Street Fighter 6 is doing, right? If you take a look at a game like Multiversus, it launched, had huge numbers, but because people couldn't do anything in that game other than play versus, the numbers have quickly fallen off, right? Even if the core combat is amazing, people need to do more, and that is what Street Fighter 6 is doing. They're giving you the extreme modes with like the fun battle. They have added the dynamic controls, which is pretty much there just for the casuals. Someone in a comment said that for me it's not big, but for him and his other friends is really huge, and I will 100% agree. I got a lot of other friends who are not really into fighting games, and I have gotten them over, and what they will do, yeah, they will button mash, and now it's great. Like when they get to button mash, they get to do cool stuff. Maybe they will try out arcade mode, check out character endings, or just have fun playing versus with each other. We also got the World Tour mode, which seems to be more of like a story mode, and I think that is really great. It's really great that Capcom is expanding, even if we got stuff like character creation, a whole part of the game, a whole part of the online culture of the game. It's just gonna be about people creating these crazy characters and sharing it with each other. This has always been like a big part of Soul Calibur. If you check it out, you'll see like tons of videos, online threads, and all of that about like crazy Soul Calibur creations. So having like a create a character option is just a stroke of genius in my opinion. It's always been like a big part of that game, and that is really nice. I really love what Street Fighter 6 is doing. Now, when it comes to the game being successful, right, if we got a good number of players, even if there are people who just started out by mashing the dynamic controls, maybe they will like the game enough that they will say, you know what, I want to learn that, right, and then they will move to modern controls. They're gonna try modern controls for a little bit, feel like they're going somewhere, but they still need a little bit more, and then maybe they will try classic. If Capcom can integrate some of that element like into the game, have a way for people to like upgrade their control scheme until they are like legit playing Street Fighter, that would be great. Another thing they can do is to integrate some of the real tournament scene into the game itself, so that people who are even just in it for the fun can have like a window into the tournament scene, and maybe one day they will get hooked. I must say that with Street Fighter 4, the scene was growing. If you check out the EVO numbers, each year with Street Fighter 4, we were getting more and more players, right? And when Street Fighter grows the scene, everyone wins. Because when Street Fighter came out, a lot of people really didn't enjoy Street Fighter 5, right? And what happens? Players who played Street Fighter 5 went, or like who didn't like Street Fighter 5, just went to play other games. Now they are Guilty Gear players, or like Tekken players, or like anime players. So it's really important for Street Fighter to grow, right? Street Fighter 5 barely had any player growth. The scene really didn't get any bigger, and I think that is unfortunate. If Street Fighter 6 manages to pull through and manages to grow a bigger scene, even if these players leave Street Fighter, they're just gonna play other games, and it's gonna be big for everyone else. It's a win-win situation. And that is the same case for Project L as well. If Project L did really well and Street Fighter 6 is looking amazing, maybe some people who played Street Fighter or played Project L and liked it will say, that Street Fighter game is looking really nice, I'm gonna give it a chance. And because it's a good product, people are much more likely to stick. So I think Street Fighter 6 having good growth, being a good product, is very important to everyone. Me, as someone who have been in fighting games for a while, do I think Street Fighter 6 is perfect? I don't think so. Combat wise, I think it's very good, it's very promising. It's not perfect, it's not there yet fully, but it's very promising, and I am very glad that people are finally positive about Capcom fighting games. It's been so long since Street Fighter 4 that people have been very positive about Capcom games, and I'm very glad to see the day where we finally turn the ship around, because we really struggled with Street Fighter 5 in my opinion. I love the game, I must say I absolutely love the game, Street Fighter 5, but yeah, I don't think it did this scene any favors when it comes to growth and everything, and I hope that Street Fighter 6 will be the game to turn it around, and we're gonna go back to the days where every year we are having more and more players, hopefully, finger crossed. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, it helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.